Hey, this is Rachel and Stacy from the Decoding Couples podcast. We hired Adam to help us market our podcast and leverage our brand in order to gain sponsors and partnerships. He was able to help us create a fantastic idea around a membership program and also helped us streamline our recording process. With Adam's help, we were able to get our membership community up and running within 2 months. We have successfully locked in our first podcast sponsor and generally feel more confident in how we market ourselves and talk about our podcast. 10 out of 10 recommend. Thank you, Adam.
What's up, Pod Pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you are listening to Podcasting Business School. It's a show where I teach podcasters simple strategies to help you make more money, get more clients, and build a profitable online business. I'm a little sick today, Pod Pals. You may notice the voice is a little bit more raspy, a little bit more depth. I did a workshop yesterday, and one of our audience members, shout out to Brenda, Miss Brenda, she said she likes it. She likes my voice like this. So this one's for you, Brenda. So anyway, today we're doing a podcast listener to client conversion audit. This is where I invite one of you all, one of my audience members, onto the show. We've got Jules White coming on, and we're solving a big pain point. We're working on a big problem that I know that I've had in the past, that I know that a lot of you are dealing with, and that is we are attracting freebie seekers with our content instead of ideal fit clients. So we're going to spend 30 minutes diving into this. I think you can get a lot out of this. If you are asking yourself, how the heck do I apply to be on the show with Adam for one of these audit episodes? You need to be on my newsletter list, which you should be anyway, because I send out a great newsletter every single Thursday. And about every 6 months or so, I'll say, hey, I want to do some more coaching episodes. Who wants in? And that is the call to action that you need to be in front of. So the newsletter, just to let you know what you're missing out on if you're not on the email list. I don't send like promotion emails and stuff like that. It's just Thursday, you're going to get a second helping of high value content that'll be different than the podcast. So if you're only listening to the audio show on Tuesdays, you're only getting 50% of the good stuff. The other 50% is on Thursday with the newsletter, a completely different topic, more tips, more value, and you need to be on that. So if you want to hop on the list, then you can use the link in the show notes or head on over to my main website, www.podcastingbusiness.school. I'm excited for you to listen to this one. Let's dive on in to this listener to client conversion audit episode with my pod pal, Jules White. All right, pod pals, we are here for another podcast listener client conversion podcast audit episode. I've got my pod pal, Jules, in the house. We're going to talk about converting more of her listeners into paying clients. Jules, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's so great to be here. Thanks, Adam.
Well, I'm excited. I want to kick it off with my good job list, giving you compliments first. That's how I like to do these now. There's a few things I think you're doing really, really well. Number one, compliment. I love weekly content. You are cranking out content consistently. I support that. Number two, you are numbering your episodes. I'm big on numbering episodes. They do not hurt our SEO at all. It's very smart. Quick reference. You can be on someone else's show, say, hey, go up, listen to episode 72, and bam, they're there in 2 seconds. We love this. Number three, solo episodes. You are being an expert on your own show. I love this. And number four, you're doing some case study and coaching episodes, which is that's a big deal. So we're leveraging that 2/3 content rule really nicely, and I think that that's gonna serve you really well long term. So good job on those things, Jewel. Well done.
Thank you. I love doing like the coaching episodes. I love it. I don't think I would have ever thought about doing that had I not listened to you. So thank you for that.
Right. Good. I'm out here preaching the coaching episode gospel. Okay. Clarifying questions. Number one, I need to know a little bit more about your ideal client avatar. So give me some descriptive terms of who you want to help, who you can help the fastest.
So they're in beauty, health and wellness. They are local businesses. So not local to me, but local. Their customers are local to them. That's definitely the people that there's real quick wins that I can always help. They have not really done a lot with their SEO. They've not really done anything with their SEO. Realistically, they've not really thought too much about their website and what more they can do. So yeah, I think that's definitely
okay.
the the main people.
Yeah. So in the States, we would call that a brick and
Yeah.
mortar beauty and health and wellness business.
Yes.
And
The only reason I don't usually say that is because I feel like within the industry, like this is my background. My background was in a salon, and I don't feel like they would necessarily describe that themselves. I don't know whether they would in the States. I'm not sure.
I don't either, to be honest. Like I had a brick and mortar. I didn't start using the word brick and mortar until I became an online entrepreneur. So I think you're probably right. That's the local business, support local business. I think
It's
that's
hard though, because people, when I say local businesses, people think that I just want to work with people local to me.
right.
So that is really hard as well.
Yeah. Small. That's interesting. That we could do a whole episode on just like how do we describe this situation of who you help. Okay. So how specifically are you helping them? What problems are you great at solving for these people?
So helping them to get more traffic through their website. So show up in searches on Google, in AI search, on local maps as well. And then converting those website visitors into bookings and sales, whether that's bookings for for in-person appointments or online sales of products through their website as well. And also if they're selling, like a lot of beauty in particular business owners are moving into online courses and things like that. So also I can help them with that part.
Yeah. Nice. I'm seeing that as
And
well.
then helping them to escape social media as well. So helping them to market their business without using social, or at least having a social media as optional approach to that.
I like that. Due to recent circumstances, I've become a little less dependent on social media. All right. Okay, so let's update the audience here on a few key metrics. Your show is the Website Success Show. You've got a title extension. We can dive into that as well. You have, as the time that you gave me this information, 104 episodes, 806 people on your email list. So you got some solid numbers. You're over 100 episodes, almost 1,000 people on that email list. These are assets. So we're doing a great job. You've got the expert positioning going. The 2/3 content rule is in place. Solos, numbering, weekly content. A lot of things are going really, really well. Here's one more question for you. How good of a job? Let's go scale of 1 to 10, 10 being excellent, 1 being not so great. How good of a job are you doing of making your audience aware of the problems that you can solve for them, in your opinion?
I would say probably a 2 or a 3, realistically, until I listened to the episode where you were talking, like where you went really all in on describing the 4 problems.
Yeah.
And so I then spent some time creating the 4 problems that I solve. And I talked
Good.
about them for the first time in my last episode.
Good. That's the next layer. That's like the next layer of expert positioning and just being a known problem solver and creating awareness around the problems that you solve. So anytime you put out a piece of content, you can look for that opportunity. Obviously, we don't want to do that with every piece of content because that will get super annoying, especially with social media when you're like, every Instagram post, here are the problems that I solve, by the way. But we can angle it in different ways and go, oh, I was just working with one of my clients, and this is one of the problems I love helping people solve. That could be an Instagram story, or in your newsletter, like I do. I'm just straight up with like, here's the problems that I solve, and I kind of put that on repeat. Before this episode, I'll record an intro. I'm like, one of the problems I love helping podcasters solve is how to convert more listeners into paying clients. That's what we're talking about today. So just getting those reps in, I think that's very smart with what part of your content strategy. So once again, you are an implementer, Jules. You're an implementer.
It felt actually really good to record and actually talk about the problems I solve. I don't know why I'd never thought about doing it that way, but yeah, it was like
Oh,
light bulb moment when I heard you talking about that. So yeah.
it only took me 10 years to figure it out. So there we go. That's the thing I feel good about with my content is, and I think hopefully other content creators that are listening and can think this way as well. But like, I'm screwing a lot of stuff up, and it took me 10 years to figure out that particular concept. But at least now I'm helping all of you shave time off that learning curve, and that makes me feel good. And now you're out there doing it in episode 100 and whatever instead of episode 1,000. So you're in a better spot.
108 episodes to get
There
to
you
that.
go. There you go. Okay, so I've got some strategy ideas to unpack here. Tell me a little bit about
your email list? Are we communicating them with like a newsletter? I know you've got lead magnets and things like that, but how are we communicating with this email list?
Yeah, so I email them weekly. Normally, I used to do it on a Friday. I used to release my podcast and email on a Friday, but normally it's midweek now. And it's normally an episode, like it's an email that shares the episode that I have just released, but also talks about it. So it's not just like, here's my new episode. It's talks about it, the problem. I always have a top tip of the week in there that people tell me they really love that. But yeah, it's a weekly email. And then, yeah, I have the welcome sequences for the lead magnets as well.
Okay. So let's challenge a few ideas here. Let's just getting you thinking a little bit differently, some different perspective. First thing, the episode and the email are dropping on the same day.
They are at the moment. Yeah.
And what? So Wednesday, is that what?
Normally Thursday, actually.
Thursday. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's reverse engineer this. I would like to see them actually come out on a different day of the week. For a couple of reasons. One is I don't want them to assume, again, I only need one or the other. I want them to want both. What I do is Tuesday podcast episode, Thursday email. That way it gives my listeners a couple of days to listen to the episode. And then if they haven't, that Thursday can serve as a little reminder, like, oh yeah, that topic, I meant to listen to that, but I hadn't in the last couple of days. So if you do it all in one day, they're not getting that little reminder a couple of days later. So something to think about that. I think you could still keep your, when it comes to your newsletter, there, any day of the week is fine for a newsletter. I've learned this. I've got like with podcast episodes, I want those to drop ideally between Monday and Thursday. We want to avoid Friday, Saturday, Sunday because of pattern disruptions with weekend schedules and things like that. But with newsletter, email content, like I would consider doing Thursday podcast episode, Saturday newsletter. Give them even Friday if you want. I would at least give them a day, and then you have that little follow up reminder. Another thing I would do, like at least with the subject line and the way you lead into the newsletter, I would lead with the tip, and I would make that the subject line versus the episode promo. So focus on that, especially since you've got great feedback on that. And that way it's, here's the tip of the day, da, 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 da. Oh, by the way, if you forgot to listen to my episode a couple of days ago, here's a quick recap of what that's about and why you should listen to it. Here's who it's for. So how do you feel about that in general? Any questions on implementation there?
Yeah. So I have got questions. So that's one thing I do is rather than in the subject saying like this week's podcast out, because I don't open those emails that just say, it's a new podcast episode. So I don't tend to not do that, but actually, putting the tip in there would be really good, or a teaser about the tip, I guess, as well.
Yeah. Lead with that. Make that kind of the main thing and the first thing before it goes into the episode of the week. And I would make the episode of the week promo as lean as possible. Make it as just simple and, in case you missed it, we dropped a great episode on this topic, and it doesn't have to relate to the tip of the week at all. It can be something, it can be like, I prefer personally for it to be totally different because I want them to want both. Like one of the strongest calls to action I've had in my podcast is, hey, you're only getting 50% of my best stuff. If you only listen to the show, you're only getting 50%. By the way, everybody listening to this episode right now, you're only getting 50% of my content if you only listen to the show. The newsletter is the other 50%, and it's different every single week. That's a strong call to action, especially for the super fans that are like, that's some FOMO. That's some fear of missing out. Like, oh my God, somebody like you, that's a super implementer. Like you've gotten all these, like, what am I missing out by not being on the newsletter? Like there's all these other tips that are happening over there. So, I would consider that. That way you can kind of parlay that, and now there's something different. It's a tip of the day. Oh, by the way, I'll shout out my most recent episode to remind you about that as well. So, I would consider that. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. And then the thing about the reason I've been sending the email on the same day is because of your 72-hour window, which is, I probably should have mentioned the fact that I don't actually and haven't ever promoted my podcast on social media or paid ads. And that was part of a decision I made to begin with, because I wanted it to be my own success story.
Yeah.
And I'm almost at 10,000 downloads. So I'm really pleased that I've done it that way because people
Yeah.
seem to like it as well. People seem to like that
Yeah.
mission behind it, really.
Yeah. I
But then
think,
obviously that means I'm not releasing and I'm not putting anything out there. It does go on YouTube as well. And I occasionally put a pin on Pinterest, but realistically, that's more of a long-term thing. I don't think people are necessarily going to see that.
yeah. And I think that if you post, if you send your newsletter 2 days later, that's still in the 72-hour window. So that still follows that rule. It's not
Okay.
same day. Yeah. I think honestly, I think I would give it a try because I think it will help encourage people, or it'll help them avoid the situation of like, oh, I already listened to the show. I don't need to open this. Like, when an email comes through, I don't want anybody ever thinking I don't need to open this for any reason. Um, and like you were saying earlier, I subscribe to a lot of people's email lists and stuff like that. And when I do get that episode promotion email, it's even worse when it's like disguised in there. Like there's a really catchy title. I'm like, ooh, I'm opening this. And then it's like, da 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 da. And find out more on this week's episode. I'm like, you fooled me. And that's when, like, go to the spam box. Time out. Go to the spam box for a week. So yeah, I like that's a little, maybe 30-day experiment, maybe a little 1/4 of the year experiment. Let's move it to 2 days later. Let's title it so that it's focused on the tip of the day versus promoting the episode. Still promote the episode. But I would love something like a little bit of an intro, tip of the day, maybe even before the tip of the day, or an intro to the tip of the day. One of the problems I love helping people solve is here's the tip of the day, or we're going to talk about this. Drop the tip of the day, maybe a little testimonial about somebody that you've helped with that situation before, maybe a little link to a discovery call right there, and then let's do a little podcast promo and sign off. And I think that would be a valid and worthy of your time experiment.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I'm very much up for experimenting with my email list. Definitely.
Right. All right. Now, the other scary suggestion of the day is like, how often are we promoting lead magnets? You have more than one lead magnet and you've got a newsletter and you're not on social media promoting any of this. So via the podcast, is that primarily where you're promoting all your different lead magnets and things like that?
I am on social media. So I do, that's the main thing that I do actually promote on social. I
Okay.
say the main thing. I occasionally promote on socials. I've got social media accounts. I just don't post very often.
Okay.
But I use Buzzsprout. So you have the dynamic intro, outro, and mid roll. And sometimes I will have that as to get my lead magnet.
Okay. Something to consider, or just an example, is in March of 2024, I threw all my lead magnets in the trash bin and said no more. And I only focused on my newsletter. And that's also when I switched from 2 podcast episodes a week to 1 episode a week. And then one really the newsletter became my other episode of the week, basically. My newsletter list went from 2,600 to 4,300 in like 8 months. And it's never grown that fast. And it's because I'd stopped distracting from everything else. So, I mean, you don't have to throw your lead magnets in the trash bin, but again, maybe another 90-day experiment of the only lead magnet I'm going to promote is my newsletter, and just do, especially maybe the first quarter of the year type of situation. Like, hey, here's why you need to be doing it. You're going to get this tip of the day. It's a different topic than create that fear of missing out. It's a different topic. You're getting 50% of my content if you're listening to the podcast episode only. Da, 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 da. So, is that scary? Is that too scary to do?
No, it's not in the slightest bit scary,
Okay.
because I love everything you've been saying about streamlining your business as well. And I definitely want to do that. I want to do that with my website. I look at my navigation menu and I know I need to streamline it. So actually, yeah, cutting out some of the noise from the lead magnet would be really good.
Okay. One of the questions, or one of the pain points that you listed was getting the wrong fit people on discovery calls. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Probably people that don't have any kind of budget to invest in consulting, because I don't do done for you. It's all consulting. I have got a membership though as well, but it's often then people who are completely can't make any edits to their website themselves and that kind of stuff. That's where it ends up being the wrong people.
Got it. Okay. And this is a really common pain point for people navigating the online entrepreneurship space. Like, I struggle with this, and it was worse because not only like these people will sign up for a 20-minute discovery call, and they're the ones that will want to go for 45 minutes for free and have no intention of ever paying you for anything. So it's like double. And I'm just a giver. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to coach you on everything for free for the next 4 hours, I guess. Let me
Yeah.
block off my calendar.
Yeah.
So I think a couple things that could help here. One is when you give a call to action to a discovery call, make sure there's language about working together. Like, to explore working together, use this link, blah, blah, blah. Then on the sign up, before they enter any information, there needs to be like a clarifying statement that says, attention, this is not a free coaching call. Like mine, literally, that's the first thing people see. Attention, bold. This is not a free coaching call. This is for people that are interested in potentially hiring me. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. Then I describe how it's going to work. Then in the automated response emails that come from my Calendly scheduling system, every single one of those says, reminder, this is not a free coaching call. And now my audience people, you guys, you've heard me mention this before, and now people are showing up for discovery calls and they're playing a joke on me. They'll go, okay, so this is a free coaching call. And I'm like, I know they're just kidding, but
That's how you know they're your people when they start
yeah,
finding you.
because they've seen it 12 times. This is not. But I've been that guy that's been there giving away free coaching for hours and hours and hours, and I just can't do that anymore. I don't have the capability to do that, or the time on my schedule to do that, and neither do you. So make it really obvious. Then only the serious people are getting through that. And then I want to make sure you ask 2 questions in particular in the onboarding process. Number one is, what are the pain points you're struggling with? I have like a check all that apply. Make sure you have an offer that addresses anything that you list there. Don't list anything that you can't actually solve. So what are your pain points? Then the next question is, what is your budget for solving these pain points? And then within that budget, we don't have a $0 option. So don't go 0 to 50, like whatever your lowest price thing is, that's the back end. So if it's $50, then go option 1, 50 to 150, option 2, 150 to 500, 500 to 1,000, but have 3 or 4 ranges there. And I don't want you to feel weird about asking that, because you're not asking these people how much money do they make. You're asking them, what are you struggling with? What is the actual budget? Well, my job is to figure out, A, if I can help you out with any of this stuff, and B, if I have an option to work together that fits within your budget. And if we do, that's what I want to talk about. Thoughts? I'll stop talking.
You've reminded me that actually when I first started, I am a very good student of yours, because when I first started listening to the podcast, I did all this and I actually put all this in place. So I need to go back through, and especially now I've got those clear problems that I solve for people, I need to go back through and just look at that again. And I think also from listening to, you were talking about, I don't know if it was a recent episode or if it was just one that came up in my queue recently, but you were talking about just having simple offers and the different price points. And the only extra thing that people get is the level of access to you. And actually just, I think probably for me, just flipping how I'm thinking about things and doing it that way is going to be better.
Yeah. I mean, you've got some great offers, and when somebody uses the word offer, I think resources and tools. Like I've got a podcast listener to client conversion course. I don't just sell that course, because right now people are like, I don't want to take another course. But if you're in any of my coaching programs and we determine that is your number one pain point, you get access to my course, whether that's group coaching, one-on-one, hybrid, I don't care. And we just go, like when people do 60 days of coaching with me, we just check the boxes, and whatever tool they need, I give them the tool, the resource, the course, whatever. They finish it. We come to like, okay, that part of the problem was solved. What's the next one? Okay, here's the next resource, whether it's a tool, a Google Doc, whatever, a course, then go through this, check that box, and just keep building the machine. But then there is the other option where I could sell these courses. I'm going to test this a little bit in the new year, where I sell the course, but I add in my office hours with it. So it comes with the support directly from me. So it's not just like, here's an online course on sale. I'm going to package like my newsletter boot camp with 4 weeks of office hours support. So you're going to go through that, but also get 4 hours where you can pop in and actually get help from me directly. And so that's more of a pain point specific. I think we got to kind of mix and match just a little bit. So imagine having a newsletter or a podcast episode on one real specific web SEO topic. And you go, by the way, my blah, blah, blah course plus coaching offer is now available on sale this week. If you buy this thing, you're going to get this online course plus this amount of coaching for the next 4 weeks, discounted price through Friday or something like that, or good through the end of the week. So you can do real specific. They want to check off one checkbox. You can have a specific option around that. That's why I love office hours. I can put those into anything that I have. That's a resource, and that can go into added to a course. That could go just a standalone offer, any of my coaching offers, and that's access to me, and that elevates the price as well. So thoughts on that?
And is that the same office hours? So it would be the same chunk in your calendar, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You are picking this up quick, Jules. I like the way that you're thinking. So yeah, I like creating resources that I create once and I can use it across multiple offers and coaching platforms. So the office hours access, when you pop in for office hours with me, you have people that are just doing a course. You have people that are just doing office hours and that's it. They're my group coaching. They're my one-on-one coaching. They could be anything, even my certification program. And they're all in there interacting together like a little melting pot mastermind. And it's awesome. And they love it. And that's 1 hour block in my calendar. And when it fills up, I just add another one and people have access to that. And I can put these throughout my week. And so let's just imagine this course plus office hours combination thing. And let's do an example for you. So what's one of your like online course resources or something like that we could potentially do this with?
I've got a homepage blueprint that
Got it.
helps.
Homepage blueprint plus 4 weeks of office hours. Okay. Now we've got people popping in and there's no pressure for an official launch. We don't have to launch this thing and do a campaign or anything. It's just a very simple promotion. And because with a campaign, with a launch, especially with a group offer, it stresses me out because I'm like, if I don't get like at least 10 people on this, I'm going to look like an idiot because I'm in there doing group coaching for one person or 2 people or whatever. But with office hours, that's the group connection standpoint. I've got people popping in from all sorts of angles. So that pressure is released for me. I like that. So I can just sell this course or this solution, plus you get support. Everybody's hopping in together instead of just like you get this specific date and you have to show up on these specific dates. You know, the traditional campaign launches are very inflexible, the time frames and things like that. But then the counter argument is, but there's scarcity, there's fear of missing out. So we create that with a little sale of, hey, you can get my blueprint plus 4 weeks of support via office hours. And here's $100 discount code good through the end of the week. And if you want to pay full price, you can start this at any time. If you want a little discount, start by Friday. So that's my thought on that. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds amazing, actually. It sounds so much more simple. And yeah, I definitely love the idea of this.
So my pod pal, Amanda Walker from Best Damn Coach, she calls this a small bite offer. So what this would lead to is people work with you for 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. They do the course plus office hours. They get used to doing the office hours and like, I like this. And the question will happen, what's next, Coach Jules? How do we keep, how do I maintain support? Can I keep doing these office hours things? Those are the types of questions you get and you go, well, I've actually got this membership. Well, I've actually got this one-on-one. Well, I've got this hybrid coaching container. And that's where we can kind of level them up into your basic coaching containers. So we don't have to lead with those. There could be a little something in front of those still too. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's really good. I do power hours. I know you're not that keen on power hours, and I would love to find a way of like an alternative to that, really, because they've been really good. And actually, a lot of the people that have joined my membership are people that have had power hours with me. So actually, this feels like and having more of the office hours built into something else feels like it could be a better option.
So
really.
a power hour, that's like a paid hour consulting type thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything against that at all. But what if we were to leverage this scenario? It's more of a one to many with office hours. So something to
Yeah.
consider. Okay. Now let's do like a quick little blitz here. I've got one more thing that I want to cover. Confidence in your offers. I mean, I think you got looking at your offers, I think you're hitting the spot, and it sounds like you're reconfiguring things to simplify them. One like micro strategy, because I think generating problem awareness is going to help. Um, Celebrating success on your show and on your social media, like, oh, my client just graduated this program. Here's what they were able to accomplish. Sharing that a little bit, but also just name dropping your offers and your content. I do this all the time. I've done it like 3 times just since we've been talking here. Where remember a few minutes ago when I was like, I've got this course called the Podcast Listener Client Conversion. Like, I just name dropped it. I didn't explain what it was. I didn't do a sales pitch. Nothing. I talked about my group coaching. I talked about I'm just saying the things that people pay me for. But it's not a big salesy thing, but it just creates awareness. Like on social media, I could go on Threads or Instagram story, and just be like, oh, I was just talking to one of my podcast listener client conversion course people, blah blah blah, or one of my group coaching people, and just tell a little story.
Mm.
And it's not a pitchy salesy thing, but I feel like that helps a lot. It's just generating awareness. Like, oh, people are paying Adam for a thing. And it's called group coaching, or it's called this whatever course, or this blueprint, or power hour, or whatever. So I would look for opportunities. Again, not all the time, but I would say once a day. Let's name drop something that people pay you for. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that sounds really good actually. And actually, rather because I always feel a bit like if you'd like to, if you'd like to book a power hour or something like that, and it always feels like I'm just asking them to book
Yeah,
rather than
that's salesy pitchy. But if you were to just do a power hour with somebody and you hop on an Instagram story and go, oh my gosh, I just had the best power hour session with this client. Here's what we talked about. Here's what I'm so psyched about. Da, 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 da. And just let it sit. I mean, if you wanted to, you could create another story with like book your power hour link or whatever. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all, but just name drop it a little bit and just get that same with problem awareness. It's like offer awareness. We need to have a little bit of both in there. Mix that into the content, stir it up. Clients come out and you throw it in the oven, fresh clients coming out of the oven. There we go.
amazing.
All right, Jules, I want you to shout out your brand, your website, all the things in case people want to connect and support your content ecosystem.
Thank you. So I'm Jules White. I'm the founder of the website Success Hub. I am the host of the Website Success Show. You can visit my website, which is the website successhub.com. And I help beauty, health, and wellness businesses to get more traffic and sales through their existing websites.
All right, there you have it, Pod Pals. Jules, you are doing a lot of the right stuff. All right, keep doing it, keep going. And I think that you're going to see positive results coming out the other side. So thanks for joining me on the show today. Hey there, good looking. Just a quick reminder to hit that link in the show notes and get signed up for my free Podcasting Business School newsletter. I'm going to send you a fresh, hot newsletter every single Thursday with some of my best podcast launch, growth, and monetization strategies. Hit that link in the show notes and keep your eyes on your inbox.